Thanks for tuning in to Be Bold Radio. This is your host, Dymeata B, and you're listening to episode number 147. Today is my first episode, I believe maybe my first visual episode for Be Bold Radio. I have two podcasts, and for those who don't know, I have partnered with my husband. We have a podcast now that we just launched called Be Bold in the City. And then we have Be Bold Radio, which is the first podcast that I've launched. And I'm just now getting back on track. And I'm so excited to be back on the microphone. I'm going to talk today about something because I was very apprehensive about doing the video. And I'm going to tell you why. I have so many things to do. I have a shoot tomorrow and I need to get my hair done, everything, makeup, just get prepped, right, for the photo shoot. And I was apprehensive about doing this podcast because I was not physically prepared for the camera. But had I procrastinated any longer, I would not have gotten it done. So here we are with both the visual and the audio for today's podcast. So today I want to talk about people pleasing, and which had a lot to do with me getting on here and recording. I've dealt with people pleasing for a very long time, y'all. A very long time. And I can remember as far as I can go as far as me being a little girl. And I'll never forget, I was out with my cousins, and I think we went to get our hair done. No, we didn't get our hair done. We went with my mom to the hair salon. It was me and two other cousins, and they were a year older than me, and we had something to eat. We got something to eat, and I remember us having candy or something like that. Well, to make a long story short, we get in the car. I didn't eat all of my candy, and I saved some of mine, but they did. And so when we got in the car after leaving the salon, they noticed that I still had candy left. And they were like pressuring me to share with them because they had ate all of their candy. And so I remember feeling mad on the inside because I wanted my candy. I didn't want all of my candy at once. And so because I said no, they stopped talking to me for the rest of the day. They stopped talking to me, and we all hung out together. We all stayed at my grandmother's house a lot. And so they didn't talk to me the rest of the day. They didn't play with me, anything. And I remember how that felt. I felt rejected. I felt isolated without volunteering myself to be isolated. And I felt left out. And I didn't feel accepted. And so as I've grown up, even in middle school, I remember high school, and wanting to keep friendships because I didn't want people to be mad at me. I wanted people to like me. And I didn't realize any of this until my adult years. Fast forward, I am 44 years old, and I have been pleasing people for most of my life. And I asked myself while I was prepping for this episode, why did I feel like I had to please people? Why did I feel like it was necessary? And here are some of the reasons. One, fear. Fear of not being loved, fear of not being accepted, fear of being rejected, fear of being talked about, fear of being misunderstood. So I would please people. I would do things that people wanted me to do. I would say things that was contrary to my character, contrary to my personality and who I was. And so I would please people a lot. I found myself being very critical of myself and judgmental to myself. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I guess today's episode is more like a therapy session, more like me confessing that my name is Dymeata B and I'm a people pleaser. But I've had a chance to take an inventory of myself, and going through therapy has really been helping me and helping me to sort out my thoughts, sort out my feelings, and sort out my triggers and the why, asking myself why. Ladies, I think it's time to unleash your inner beauty with Be Bold Cosmetics. Our liquid matte lipsticks are the secret to a bold and confident power. You can say goodbye now to smudges and hello to long-lasting color that stays put all day. Be Bold Cosmetics liquid matte lipsticks are smudge-proof and transfer-proof, giving you a flawless look that lasts. The lightweight formula keeps your lips feeling comfortable and hydrated. And here's the best part. Be Bold Cosmetics is a cruelty-free and vegan brand. You can rock your favorite lipstick with a clear conscience. So let's step up your game with Be Bold Cosmetics liquid matte lipsticks. Visit our website today at www.justbebold.com and experience the power of bold, beautiful lips. Get ready to make a statement, sis. Get ready to be bold. My father passed away December 21st of 2023. And I believe that was when I really realized that I have been pleasing people and it has been hurting me, and that I have not loved me the way I'm supposed to be loved. And I keep looking away because I'm thinking about scenarios. I'm thinking about situations in my life where I have been constantly trying to make everybody happy. Now I have a husband, I have 3 children, and then there's me. And we have, we run businesses and we are always busy, right? We are always we have a lot of responsibilities. And after my father's passing, got behind and stuff, and didn't get behind, just had to press the pause button on a lot of things and take care of other business. Well, to make a long story short, I have been feeling extremely anxious. I have been feeling extremely frustrated. And last episode, if you have not checked out last episode, I strongly suggest that you do. I encourage you to go back and listen to the one on anger and resentment. And so because I don't want to be in a space of anger and resentment, or having anger and resentment, I had to take an inventory of my life and my intent in doing things that I do. And so there have been people pulling on me. There have been people wanting me to do things, inviting me to places, inviting me to do certain events, and I've had to turn them down. And it hasn't been easy. I've said no to family members. I've said no to certain events and different things like that. And even with my kids, I have really had to just stop. Dymeata, stop and think about, why are you saying yes? Do you want to say yes? Are you really okay with it? Do you really want to go with them? Do you really want to be here with them? Do you really want to answer your phone? So I've been feeling good lately because I've been asking myself those questions. And I am responsible for me. I'm not responsible for anybody else. I'm not responsible for making everybody happy. I'm not responsible for that. And my therapist, we had a session a week ago, and we talked about the family structure. And she had me she explained the family structure, and I hope I'm not misquoting what it was, but I believe it was the family structure, and it was the scapegoat, it was the family hero, and it's a couple other ones. And I'm like, that was me. Oh my God, that's me. I have been trying to be the family hero in my life, in my family. And the family hero most times is unfulfilled because they are so busy trying to make sure everybody's okay, make sure everybody's happy. And so now that I can identify where I stand in my family, I got a little more purpose when I answer phone calls. I have more purpose now, or I have a purpose when I am in conversations, or when I choose to do something or go somewhere or give something to someone. So I am in a great place, and I wanted to just get on here because it was my way of publicly confessing that I've been in the people-pleasing business for way too long, and to also announce that today it expired. The moment I acknowledged it, the moment I identified it, is the moment I have a choice to let it expire. And not saying that I'm going to get it right every time, but now I'm conscious and I'm intentional now. And so if you're listening to this podcast, whether you're driving, you're working out, I just want to encourage you to ask yourself a question before you answer that phone call, before you let that person manipulate you or convince you to do something or go somewhere that you really don't feel like going. Ask yourself, why? Before you loan that money out, why am I going to give them this money? Am I giving them this money because I don't want them to think that I'm stingy, that I don't want them to think that, oh, she can't help me, or I don't, am I answering this phone call because people have pressured me and said, like in my case, oh, you never answer your phone. But people really didn't know the depression that I faced. They didn't know the struggle we were going through. They didn't know the amount of stress that was heavy on me because we had a daughter that was diagnosed with autism. So I was stressing myself out trying to answer everybody's call because I didn't want anybody to be mad at me. So ask yourself a question the next time that you make a decision that has to do with somebody else. Ask yourself why. What is my intent? What's my purpose if I comply? And does this make me happy? Does this make me satisfied? Does this add stress to my life? And if you don't want it, you don't have to accept it. No is an entire sentence. And so there's no more people pleasing. I will be very blunt. I am very honest, but respectful. And there was a time that I was respectful, but other people weren't respectful with me. Those days are over. Those days are over. Do you hear me? And so I'm in a good place. Seriously, I really am in a good place because people have been having a field day being satisfied. And I used to think being labeled the nice girl, oh, she's so sweet. A lot of sweet people are being ran over. There's a lot of nice people being taken advantage of. But I know who I am in Christ. I'm taking my rightful place. And I'm not getting any younger. I feel good. I feel young, but I'm not getting any younger in age. And I have to do what's right and what's good for me. And if it doesn't put my family in danger, if it doesn't affect my children, my husband, my marriage, my health in a negative way, if they're okay, then that's what really matters for me. So I want to encourage you. If you're having an issue with people pleasing, I want to pray that God will give you the boldness to speak up, the confidence to speak up without knowing the consequences, in spite of the consequences. If you're listening to this podcast, I want to encourage you. Let it expire. Let the people-pleasing days expire. You got this. Until next time, continue to believe, be original, and live your dreams.